Hello, comrades, and welcome to another video on the Russian Revolution area of study 2. This video, we're going to be looking at the 10th Party Congress. Now, it's not going to be a very long video. There's only 4 slides in this video. Now, here is a quote from Lenin, which really sums up what we're going to be looking at in this video. He said at the 10th Party Congress, comrades, this is no time to have an opposition. Either you're on this side or on the other. But then your weapon must be a gun, that's meant to say not fun, and not an opposition. So basically, you're either with us or you're against us, Lenin was saying. Now, a quick recap of our last video on the NEP. Now, this video is the third in the series of videos on topic 5, which is on crises and compromise from 1921 to 1927. So the first video looked at the Kronstadt Rebellion and peasant uprisings. The second video looked at the NEP, and now we're looking at the 10th Party Congress. So the NEP was a revised economic strategy developed and introduced by Lenin at the 10th Party Congress in March 1921. It replaced war communism as the Soviet regime's official economic policy. It brought an end to grain requisitioning, replacing it with a tax in kind, and allowed private ownership of small businesses, the return of markets, and the sale of surplus goods. The NEP also allowed the return of capitalist behaviors such as buying and selling for profit, and produced the emergence of new kulak and netmen classes. Now, I didn't mention netmen in our last video. Basically, netmen were traders. They were legally allowed to exist now, and like in war communism, and so they traded goods. In comparative terms, the NEP was a success. It allowed Russia's agricultural production to quickly recover, and by 1925 reached similar levels to before World War I. Some in the Communist Party, however, considered the NEP a betrayal or abandonment of socialist economic principles. Lenin justified it as a temporary breathing space for the Russian economy, which had been exhausted by years of war with World War I, the Civil War, and had now been exhausted economically by war communism. So that was a recap of our last video. Now, the 10th Party Congress, where Lenin introduced the NEP, also led to the emergence of 2 opposition platforms. They were known as the Workers' Opposition and the Democratic Centralists. Now, both of these existed prior to the 10th Party Congress. However, they played a significant role in the 10th Party Congress and in the outcomes of the Congress. The Workers' Opposition, which was led by Alexander Kollontai, who was a significant leader in the Communist Party, and someone we'll discuss in a later video. The Workers' Opposition wanted the economy to be managed by authorities elected and directed by trade unions, seeking greater proletariat involvement in the day-to-day running of industry. They criticized Trotsky's efforts to further militarize workplaces. They also criticized his proposal to put, Trotsky that is, his proposal to put trade unions under government control. And they criticized the continued influence of non-communist specialists in charge of factories. Here's a quote from Kollontai. The Workers' Opposition considers that bureaucracy is our enemy, our scourge, and the greatest danger to the future existence of the Communist Party itself. The building of communism can and must be the work of the toiling masses themselves. The building of communism belongs to the workers. So the Workers' Opposition basically wanted more control to the workers. The Democratic Centralists shared Kollontai's concerns about the rise of bureaucratism in the new society, and they also argued that the party leadership was stifling inter-party debate. They wanted to be able to debate openly in the way that democracies can, and that the democratic element of democratic centralism had been lost. So that brings us to the main decree that came out of the 10th Party Congress on this very issue of opposition platforms. It was called On-Party Unity. So according to Lenin, the demands of the opposition factions were too idealistic to be taken seriously. He contended that the long-term survival of the regime depended on the party presenting a united front. He needed everyone to support the NEP and everyone to support the party. And so he presented the decree on party unity. This declared that the demands of opposition factions were inconsistent with membership of the Communist Party. I.e., if you have such, if you hold such demands, then you cannot consider yourself a true member of the party. The decree on party unity banned the continued promotion of opposition ideals and also banned factions within the party. Either you're with us or against us, as the quote in the first slide suggested. Karl Radek was a member of the Communist Party who had a sort of forewarning in this quote. He said, "In voting for this resolution, I feel that it can be turned against us, and nevertheless, I support it. Let the Central Committee, in a moment of danger, take the severest measures against the best party comrades if it finds this necessary." So he did acknowledge that this decree could be used against party members, but he supported it nonetheless because as Lenin was revered as the party's leader and he wanted unity in the party. However, this decree would later prove to have great significance as once Stalin came into power, it allowed him to silence and remove his political opponents. In fact, Radek, who gave this quote, turned out to be one of the many best party comrades purged from his position and executed by Stalin, along with many other members of the Communist Party. So the two main things that came out of the 10th Party Congress was the decree on party unity, so getting rid of all factions within the party, and from our last video, the new economic policy. They were the two main outcomes of the 10th Party Congress. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you next time. Thanks.